Welcome to the Progress City Radio Hour. My name is Michael Crawford. With me, as always, my brother Jeff. Jeff, how are you today?
I'm toasty. It's hot outside, midsummer, but thinking about the walking into an air-conditioned space, grabbing a nice cold beverage down in Central Florida, and waiting for that 4 p.m. daily rainstorm to cool things down a little bit. How are you doing?
Oh, very much the same. And let me tell you, we've been having those daily storms lately. They've been hitting pretty good. So everything is according to format. But yeah, I could use one of those long dark rides in the air conditioning. Maybe one of those old EPCOT dark rides that were like 15 minutes long, where you could really kick back and enjoy yourself on a day like this. So. Feeling the heat, but doing fine otherwise. But what have we got in store today? We've got a kind of exciting, another throwback.
That's right. So, if you listened to our last episode, you heard us discussing some of the things that were afoot in 1975 in Tomorrowland. And so we thought we would expand that out, because 1975 was kind of a real pivotal year and kind of hinge point for the Walt Disney World development in its first decade. We've talked some about this in the 50-year special, but, why not elaborate, Michael, and talk a little bit about 1975?
That's right. There was a lot going on, not only in the Disney company, but especially at Walt Disney World in 1975, as that sort of first wave of development started to wrap up and move into the next. And lots of exciting things happening.
Yeah. What is going to happen next? What are they going to do to, make it more of a destination? And would, EPCOT be built? They've heard all about the city of the future. What's going to happen?
Absolutely. All the things were big mysteries at the time. Would they keep building? Would they, monetize all this land that they had? What were they going to do? And so this is when they started to try and answer some of those questions.
That's right. So what are we going to talk about today, Michael?
Well, we've got a couple of things to talk about. We're going to take a holistic view and take a trip back to 1975. Look at the expanse of Walt Disney World. What was a visit like to Walt Disney World in 1975 look like? So we're going to do that. We're also going to take a look at one of the big expansions of 1975, the Walt Disney World Shopping Village, which was a big addition, and one of those that loomed large in our youths down there at the village. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about what EPCOT was looking like in 1975, what the state of that project was, because this was a year where a lot of EPCOT stuff happened, a lot of big announcements and big meetings and big things. So plenty to talk about.
Well, I am a man of the future. We just finished Tomorrowland, so I'd like to hear what's coming up next. Maybe we should start right there and hear what they have to say about EPCOT at this point in time.
Sounds good.
What do you think?
Let's turn to Disney's What's Next network and find out.
Here, the Disney staff will work with individual companies to create a showcase of industry at work. In attractive park-like settings, the 6 million people who visit Disney World each year will look behind the scenes at experimental prototype plants, research and development laboratories, and computer centers for major corporations. So this is EPCOT, the heart of Disney World. In other parts of the country, a community the size of this prototype could become part of an entire city complex composed of many such communities, planned and built a few miles apart. In Disney World, about 20,000 people will actually live in EPCOT. Their homes will be built in ways that permit ease of change, so that new products may continuously be demonstrated. Their schools will welcome new ideas, so that everyone who grows up in EPCOT will have skills in pace with today's world. EPCOT will be a working community with employment for all, and everyone who lives here will have a responsibility to help keep this community an exciting living blueprint of the future. And now here again is Walt Disney.
That's the starting point for our experimental prototype community of tomorrow. And now, where do we go from these preliminary plans and sketches? Well, a project like this is so vast in scope that no one company alone can make it a reality. But if we can bring together the technical know-how of American industry and the creative imagination of the Disney organization, I'm confident we can create right here in Disney World a showcase to the world of the American free enterprise system. I believe we can build a community that more people will talk about and come to look at than any other area in the world. And with your cooperation, I'm sure this experimental prototype community of tomorrow can influence the future of city living for generations to come. It's an exciting challenge, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for everyone who participates. Speaking for myself and the entire Disney organization, we're ready to go right now.
As you can tell from both this episode and our Tomorrowland 75 episode, 1975 was a busy year for Disney. Not only were there new things opening in the resorts, but there was a new wave of planning activity for future projects. Most prominent here was a flurry of activities surrounding the announcement and promotion of a new vision for the long-elusive EPCOT project. But before we look at how Disney went about revealing their fresh concept for an experimental prototype community, let's talk about where Disney and Walt Disney World stood financially at the start of 1975. Jeff, in our time, we've seen Disney react to major economic events like 9/11 and the 2008 economic collapse. But back in the 70s, it seemed like there was something going on every year that they had to react to.
Yeah, I mean, it's just think about all the growth. I mean, the American economy and Disney kind of grew together from the Depression through the post-war 60s, and then there's the 70s, and Walt's gone, and there's all kinds of questions in that, and then, of course, in the nation and international. So great uncertainty.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's just the 70s hit everybody at the same time, and
right.
It was not a smooth road necessarily for everybody, and certainly not for Disney. But yes, it was clearly a much smaller company in the 70s, Disney was, than it grew to be later. So it was way more susceptible to the ups and downs of the travel economy, for one thing. Disney's planning had to reflect that. 1974 had been a rough year in the shadow of the oil crisis, which was kind of the first thing that really rocked their boat. And the Magic Kingdom had seen attendance for the year fall off by 6.5%. And at one point, the company's stock, which had hit a $123 a share high in 1973, fall as low as $37 a share. That's crazy.
That is wild. Yeah, you think about, you mentioned a couple of those events. So you also have to add the COVID pandemic, and you think about how Disney shut down so much during that and just kind of was able to kind of navigate that. I mean, obviously there's been all kinds of ripples from that, but so much of a bigger situation than what we're talking about here. But because the company is so much larger, they could absorb it more. But yeah, you get people stopping traveling, and at this point, when they've put everything into Disney World, it's a lot bigger deal.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because when COVID happened and Disney closed, I don't think many people questioned that they would reopen.
Right.
So the question was never, will they be able to survive? But in the 70s, there were people like in the business press, when you read back, saying, who knows if the travel industry to Florida is going to rebound? Will people be driving out of state anymore, ever? It was just kind of a new thing, I suppose. And the panic, I mean, $37 a share, which I wish now I could go back in time and load up on that.
Yeah, that's right.
My gosh, it's pretty amazing that it struck that hard. So, you have to imagine the panic if the stock were to fall that much in a single year these days. Just
Oh gosh, yeah.
drop
Well,
it.
there's also like, it's every time they do an edition in those early years, it's kind of like, oh, they're doing an edition. Like this is almost like there was a kind of fear that they were just going to stop.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like you said, that they were just going to be done. So, I think everything like this just made it tighter, and obviously our home park felt the squeeze from this as well. So it's the same.
That's
same kind
right.
of stuff, yeah.
Poor little Carowinds, had ambitious plans.
They opened even later, so they were just open right square in the middle of it.
Yeah, they opened right in the middle of it. So yeah, that's rough. It's amazing that concerns about the travel industry were that strong. Shows, but I think this also shows how much the companies, which it's amazing to think only had 2 theme parks, Disneyland and Magic Kingdom, how heavily those parks were shoring up the company in this era, in the early 70s, that fear about the future of the parks, especially really just one park, because people could still drive to Disneyland easily in LA. That really tanked the stock that considerably. So it was a big piece of pie. Of course it still is, but at that time it was as well. So
when you think about how much, how few films they released every year.
yes.
And that was kind of it. I mean, they had like merchandise and TV, but there wasn't much.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was a giant piece of the pie. And especially Walt Disney World, once it opened, I mean, it's just changed the company.
And when you release that few films, it really puts all your eggs in one basket, where if one doesn't hit big, then you're in trouble. And, only put out an animated film every couple of years, but they would always rely on re-releases, which were always guaranteed sort of free money, but still nothing like today, even remotely, with the pace of release. It's a whole different world. I thought it was pretty wild. The stock was in the $120 range in 1974. That's higher per share than it is now in 2025, and that's not even adjusted for inflation. According to the CPI inflation calculator, $123 in 1973 has the same buying power as $926 today.
Oh, gosh.
Which, shows, I think, what a rock solid investment people thought Disney was back then, because that's many multiples a share of Apple stock now. So
be interesting to see how many pieces of stock or shares there were out versus now.
Oh, yeah. That's a good question. Well, I just think since we got our Christmas back in the days when you could get a single share as a gift, which we got at Christmas in the mid 80s, it's split 12 times since then.
That's right.
So, and that was even after it had split many times. So yeah, it's changed over the years. Anyway, the good news was the oil crisis downturn was relatively short-lived. Attendance was on the way back up by the fall holiday season of 1974, despite some initial worries. Disney was even so spooked that they bought ads to promote Walt Disney World, which was unprecedented at the time. Jeff, people forget that at the start, Disney felt Walt Disney World didn't need ads, and they were reluctant to ever run any.
That's right. That was their style. It's an interesting policy.
Yeah. And when Eisner came in and started really running ads heavily, it was a little controversial inside the company, because a lot of people, the old timers, didn't think that was necessary. They were like, we've got the product. And they had all the ballyhoo guys who were good at working the press. So
they would be so event based too.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, get a lot of free media instead of having to pay for it.
Right.
Smart. But whether it was the ads or just tourists looking for somewhere to go, attendance bounced back at the Magic Kingdom. Friday after Christmas 1974, it broke its previous attendance record with more than 72,000 guests flocking in. I'm sure that was pleasant. The Disney parking lot filled on several days during the holiday and had to be closed. Families slept in their cars along the World Drive roadside, awaiting the lot's reopening. Disney PR executive Roger Swanson's statement to the press was a simple, "Where'd they all come from?" Well, I don't know. You tell me, Roger.
You should know.
Record attendance continued throughout 1975, setting several new records, and revenues were up too. Disney Resort Hotel occupancy was a steady 95%, which it always was in those days. Only the rooms that were being refurbed were the rooms that were empty. Everything else was full.
It's just amazing.
Numbers were looking very good at Walt Disney World and for the company overall as well, as it set another year of record profits. Card Walker said that the company would make it through turbulent times, saying, quote, "We believe very much that traditionally in times of national despair, Americans have always turned to high-quality entertainment for relaxation, and we are optimistic that this tradition will continue." Yeah. So now that things had turned bullish, what was Disney going to do next? Well, said Walker, the company was ready to move forward with confidence to the realization of Walt Disney's greatest dream, that being EPCOT. After all, with the completion of Tomorrowland at the Magic Kingdom, Phase 1 of the resort's development was complete, and the company had had time to recover from the financial burden of construction. Walker said that the resort had been so successful that they were announcing planning studies for EPCOT 2 years ahead of schedule, which I love because it pretends like they had any schedule and weren't just making it up as they went along.
That's a good strategy. Yeah, we're ahead of schedule.
Yeah. I promise
That
you
just
it's going
made up.
really well. We're way ahead of schedule, which seems to be different every time we announce it, but don't worry about that. Tapping into the zeitgeist of the time, Walker said that a lot of these planning studies would include discussions regarding energy production. All the nations of the world, he said, face the many problems associated with growth and with the redistribution and utilization of the Earth's natural resources. So, yeah, so nothing has really changed in the last 50 plus years, or 50, almost 50 years. Anyway, Disney started talking to outside entities about hypothetical projects they could set up at Walt Disney World. With General Electric, they talked about a solar project that would be large enough to run the heating and air conditioning needs of the contemporary resort. They talked to Caltech's Jet Propulsion Lab about energy derived from hydrogen. They talked to major utility companies about nuclear energy, going back to that subject. They talked to the National Science Foundation about solar energy, and they talked to oil and gas companies too. Later that year, they would add RCA to the list of companies being consulted. So all these big names signing up to be part of something happening at Walt Disney World. All these projects were hoped to join the Walt Disney World roster of attractions in what Disney called the EPCOT satellites. Jeff, we've talked about the satellites before. We love the satellites.
We're big satellite fans. Want to go to a world where the satellites are open. Want to see what it's like.
I know. I just spend a day going around to the satellites, checking them out.
I feel like the Living with the Land. That's like the satellite that
made it.
got.
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
it's true. It's true because it did grow. It did grow out of that. That's absolutely true. So in this 1975 vision for EPCOT, various research installations would be set up around Walt Disney World property to demonstrate cutting-edge technologies, and people would tour these sites to see the latest and greatest tech at work. Existing Walt Disney World features would be incorporated into this system. Walker said that the Lake Buena Vista development was a housing satellite and called the Magic Kingdom the EPCOT Recreation Satellite, which is not at all confusing, but a nice try.
It's a stretch.
He described the system in this amazing quote to the LA Times. He said, "Walt saw the park in Florida as a mountain with a weenie on top, and the weenie was the Magic Kingdom. That we knew we could do. What excited him even more were all those other elements that would make up the whole mountain, the things for which the kingdom was the lure."
It's a mountain, the tallest mountain in Florida.
With a weenie on top. Yes, we always thought of it that way. Yeah, and all these different sites. In addition to Lake Buena Vista, he said other residential modules incorporating futuristic designs would be built to house the engineers, scientists, students, and government and corporate officials who would flock to EPCOT from around the world for periods of weeks to months. So with all these satellites, Disney needed a central location to gather up all the information and data they collected, as well as all the tourists who might be interested in the EPCOT goings-on. So they envisioned a new project sitting at the center of the satellites called the EPCOT Theme Center. According to Walker, this would be a simulation and demonstration center where far-ranging concepts in energy, transportation, education, healthcare, and the many other subsystems that make up a community may be exposed to the general public. It will also be the starting point for visits to the various satellites in EPCOT. Now, we've talked about the theme center in the past in episode 40, so I encourage you to go back and listen for more details. But this was essentially the seed of what would become Future World in the Epcot Center theme park. People would come here to see attractions and exhibits centered on Epcot fields of studies, and would be able to go out to find what was going on every day in those satellite sites. It's kind of a good setup.
Yeah, I love the idea. And the cool thing is, I don't know, it seems on the very surface to kind of be more easy to update, which would be a nice thing. So it's just as long as you build a really cool Starfleet Academy, the content would automatically refresh all the time.
Absolutely. You got to have that. Speaking to a group of financial analysts in January, Walker said, "Now more than ever, our country needs a national focal point, a forum where we can expose the possible solutions that will enable our leaders to more adequately and economically deal with our nation's future growth." Sounds good to me. He told the Christian Science Monitor, "This is not double talk, it's serious. We're really getting it off the ground." Epcot, he said, would address, quote, "What is the best method of solar energy, new types of crop rotation, and the whole field of solid waste disposal." So he may not have been as natural a salesman as Walt, but he was into it.
I mean, I'm interested. I just think it's, Well, Gonzo would have liked it.
Gonzo would have been way into it. Yeah, the grungy tunnel exhibit.
That's right.
All of it, yeah. The whole field of solid waste disposal, which Disney World was doing.
That's true.
A lot of advanced stuff with that. And so, it's easy to say we could turn this into an exhibit that people could come and see, because it is, it's cutting edge, and people may want to come here and look at it for their own hometown. Speaking to the press in March, Walker said, "We think we can do it, and if we can, it'll be one of the most exciting things the company has ever done. It's bigger than us, but because we're us, we might be able to get it done. We're communicators. Why not be able to communicate technology as well as entertainment?" Which, right on, man. Go for it.
Get it. Mm-hmm.
Aiming big. As 1975 progressed, another fact became clear. Walt Disney Productions had given up any pretense that it was ever going to build Walt's City of the Future in Florida. The stirring images of Progress City had disappeared from promotional materials, and by that July, a Disney spokesman would publicly state that, quote, "The concept that was originally envisioned is no longer relevant." So don't even think about it. In a March interview with the LA Times, a Disney spokesperson had discussed the reason for this new direction. They said, "The stopper was always the sociology. You can't experiment with people's lives. You can make a test city, but you can't gamble with years of a family's life." Well, I mean, sure you can. Why not? Go for it. Card Walker was credited with coming up with a solution to the problem: make Epcot not a futuristic city, but a bedroom community for the transient staff of the World Showcase. This never happened either, of course, unless you count Vista Way, which I don't think Card would want to take credit for, probably.
That's a very small scale change for Epcot. That's interesting.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's all these sort of little medium changes that slowly over time really tilted the direction of the thing. So as Disney began to pivot to this new vision for Epcot as a kind of international forum to communicate new ideas, they started to staff up for the PR push, which was necessary for such a large and unusual project. At the start of May, it was announced that they had named a new vice president of the experimental prototype community of Tomorrow and World Showcase. The new hire was C. Langhorne Washburn, the Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Tourism under Presidents Nixon and Ford, and head of the U.S. Travel Service. Also a great name.
That's right. Yeah.
Just one of those great, old Washington names.
That's right.
C. Langhorne Washburn had been the Commerce Department's top tourism policymaker since Congress created his position in 1970, and he was tasked to use his connections in the international tourism sector to drum up support for and participation in the World Showcase. According to Card Walker, Washburn's expertise would, quote, prove invaluable in the successful marketing of EPCOT and World Showcase. Washburn immediately went to work setting up a Disney office in Washington, D.C., where he could lobby both American policymakers and international dignitaries. Love to go to this office. Very interested in this one. They had one in Washington, they had one in New York, and I get very Mad Men vibes thinking about it.
Yes, or maybe the office from Herbie Goes Bananas, so the evil guy too. It could be like
yes. Totally. So a month after Washburn's hiring, he was joined in Disney's executive ranks by an even more prominent name. Former astronaut L. Gordon Gordo Cooper, then 48, had served as an astronaut aboard the Mercury 9 and Gemini 5 missions. At the end of June 1975, he was named vice president for research and development of Disney's WED Enterprises division. Much as Washburn was intended to be a face for EPCOT's international aspects, Cooper was meant to tackle the more technological aspects of EPCOT's advanced systems, which would be found in the satellite sites. And having a celebrity astronaut on hand to reach out to potential partners in industry wouldn't hurt either. Especially, a glad-handing guy, someone to be the face of the project. By the end of the year, Disney said that under Cooper's guidance, the company had already begun, quote, the analysis and selection of a number of EPCOT-oriented research and development projects for possible application within Walt Disney World. These included the production and use of alcohol and hydrogen as efficient fuel for automobiles, buses, and other vehicles, the use of water hyacinth, always the water hyacinth, as a means of purifying treated wastewater, solar power installations to heat and air condition buildings and homes, the application of algae and Daphnia mariculture to treated sewage, producing protein for livestock feed, a living filter tree farm to remove nutrients from treated wastewater while producing timber, using pyrolysis or anaerobic digestion to create methane gas from trash decomposition, and new efficient mass transportation systems like the Disney Monorail and Wedway People Mover. That is a lot of stuff.
I love it. I wish they would have kept going in this direction.
Yes.
This is some of my favorite stuff. The kind of living future initiative.
Yeah. I mean, this stuff was all over the place when we were kids. This was still around, kind of.
Yeah.
Because they were always talking about the water hyacinths.
Yeah.
When we were kids. They were really into that.
And it still was early days of conservation, and kind of improving that land and preserving, parts of it, all that stuff. There was a lot of interesting priorities that kind of became less priority over the course of our lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they were really ahead of the curve on a lot of that, really ahead of the movement, very timely. And, some of these systems, the living filter tree farm, were already in place at Walt Disney World. Walt Disney World's parking trams were being converted to run on alcohol, and a new office building for the Reedy Creek Utility District was being planned with a prototype solar energy collector system. We are also, said Disney, considering the prototype installation of a total energy solar system to provide power for 25 new homes in the community of Lake Buena Vista. Now, that never came to pass. And sadly, neither did Disney's hope to heat and air condition the World Showcase facility with solar energy. But there is now today a little solar installation down near Epcot. I don't know, what percentage it produces, but a little of that lives on.
Yeah, well, certainly they have worked out getting a lot more solar power down there, I think, through the years, which is nice.
There's plenty of sun, so you might as well use it because we've got lots of it. The new wave of EPCOT PR crested in July when Walker and Disney chairman Don Tatum unveiled the latest plans to the media and around 70 guests and visiting dignitaries at the Contemporary Resort Hotel. It was a very different concept from what Walt had originally announced in his famous EPCOT film, and people noticed As the headline in the Miami News put it, Disney's City of Tomorrow will be built without residents.
Dun, dun, dun. What about the Cosmopolitan Hotel?
That's right. Come on. What about the Green Belt? Florida Governor Ruben Askew, a major backer of the EPCOT project, arrived at Walt Disney World on July 10th for a briefing on the latest plans. Askew also got a chance to ride the Magic Kingdom's newly opened People Mover, which Disney hoped would soon be expanding not only to the World Showcase development, but the rest of EPCOT as well. Oh, if only. The main event was held on Monday, July 14th, when ambassadors and dignitaries from 14 nations descended on the Contemporary Resort Hotel for a presentation on the project. The resort's Columbia Room was filled with small models and architectural renderings for perusal. Representatives from industry were also on hand, with Cardwalker indicating that IBM, RCA, several major oil companies had been invited and were excited about participating with us. High-ranking officials were present from Australia, Denmark, the Soviet Union, West Germany, as it was then, Greece, Italy, Mexico, Israel, the Philippines, Romania, the United Kingdom, Venezuela, Belgium, and New Zealand. Disney said they hoped between 10 and 30 nations would sign on for the initial phase of World Showcase. Again.
Wow, they had the Soviet Union.
Yes, and they were taking part too. They were enthusiastic. At a press conference following the presentation, Don Tatum sounded a positive note, saying the concept had met with an extremely favorable reaction. And Card Walker was most excited about a party that had been held the previous evening for the delegates. He said, "We had the Russians dancing with the Belgians." He was very excited. And, according to him, perhaps having the most fun was Vladimir Vasev, the Soviet representative. In Walker's telling, the Russians stood out amongst the dignitaries in his positive interest in the project. "If you've got the U.S., Walker quoted Vasev, "we want to be number 2. So they want it in, according to Card Walker.
All right.
Estimated World Showcase opening day at the time was 1980, with construction expected to commence in 1978 or perhaps even 1977. Walker estimated that it could take Disney 2 years to, quote, "do our marketing and get the foreign countries convinced," which was a little optimistic in the end. Always a little optimistic.
Just a little.
But,
Yeah.
trying to keep it going. To support World Showcase, there would be the International Village, where the young people who will operate the pavilions for participating nations will live and play and learn together during their time in America. Added Walker, "We hope that the nations of the world will send their young future leaders to operate the World Showcase and build a base for international understanding for the years to come." He was very big on that. This was a constant talking point with him. But what would Walt say? John Hinch claimed that Walt would be pleased. Quote, "We're doing it exactly the way he wanted it," he insisted. Come on, man. Come on, John Hinch.
Yeah, this is what he planned the whole time.
Yeah.
A showcase to the world. A showcase to the world, everybody.
He said it. It's in his words. Oh, man. Got to spin. Everybody's got to spin.
That's right.
The Contemporary saw another wave of guests that September when the annual conference of the Southern Governors Association arrived. This gave Disney another chance to market EPCOT. Aiding Disney's plans was Governor Askew, who seemed ever eager to advance the EPCOT cause. Askew would assist the company in making their EPCOT presentation to luminaries, including Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, Senate Majority Leader Mike Mansfield, and EPA Administrator Russell Train. "The gigantic concept just boggles the mind," said Askew. "I am certain Mr. Kissinger will agree. So I think he and other federal officials who will be here will spread the word, not only to the policymakers in Washington, but to the world at large." Kissinger's presence was seen as a sizable coup for the company, as he was considered a potentially valuable asset in promoting World Showcase on a global scale. "I'm going to do everything in my limitations, and I am confident the Disney people will too, to show the Secretary the impact that such a project would have for world peace and the welfare of people everywhere," said Askew in advance of the meeting. Card Walker, who flew from California with a new film on EPCOT's development for the presentation, was more succinct. "Mr. Kissinger," he said, may very well be the God's help we need. Making him the only person to ever say that about Henry Kissinger in history.
It is crazy, though, because he was, I mean, obviously, he was extremely influential.
Yes.
And, I mean, what a thing.
And, you know, taking time to come down to Orlando, not exactly the hotbed of political intrigue, to watch a presentation from Disney about something they wanted to build. It is something. Well, to that point, Kissinger had originally planned to visit the conference only briefly in order to deliver his remarks, but he yielded to Askew's coaxing and agreed to stay over in order to see the EPCOT presentation. Askew said, "There are two major aspects of this new Disney project that I'm sure will interest the secretary. The emphasis on energy conservation and protection of the environment and the International Youth Village." Askew excitedly anticipated that Kissinger was bringing his chief energy advisors with him. So Askew and Cardwalker greeted Kissinger in person at the Orlando airport, which you could imagine back in the day, the old jet port at McCoy, and immediately went to work on the secretary. "I outlined the EPCOT plan as quickly as I could," recalled Askew, "and although he'd told me by telephone earlier in the day that he would not have time for the formal briefing, he apparently changed his mind because he agreed. As the world's foremost spokesman for peace," Askew continued, "Mr. Kissinger can be most helpful in enlisting support for EPCOT internationally. That single factor alone could ensure its success." "We lucked out," Cardwalker said later about the opportunity to pitch EPCOT to Kissinger. So, the foremost spokesman for peace.
Never heard that title ascribed to him either.
Yes, good old Kissinger. Disney held their EPCOT presentation in a reception room set up on the top floor of the Contemporary Resort Hotel. While reporters noted that only a half dozen governors broke away from their afternoon activities in the Magic Kingdom, that was one mistake. They set this presentation up opposite the free day in the Magic Kingdom, and everybody bailed with their families. But the people who attended were nevertheless, quote, visibly impressed. Majority Leader Mansfield called the concept amazing, said he would fully study the outlines that the people here have promised to send me. "It's great," he added. "Why didn't I know about this before?" EPA Administrator Train also approved of what he saw and committed support from his department for the project. After discussing the environmental aspects of Walt Disney World and Epcot with Gordon Cooper, Train said that he would put Disney in touch with his staff to assess a possible working relationship between Disney and the EPA. Said Walker, "He didn't realize we were involved in environmental projects." Even Kissinger was impressed. "I'll be honest with you," he told a reporter. "I took the time for the briefing, I'll confess, only to accommodate your very gracious governor. But after seeing the presentation, I realized why Mr. Askew was so excited." Kissinger said he was intrigued by the prospects for EPCOT. "With its implementation," he said, "I see it as a vehicle to draw the nations of the world together." Kissinger requested that Walker send additional EPCOT materials to him in Washington, D.C., and subsequently assigned two of his top aides to view the presentation. So they got a little nibble on the hook.
Yeah, there you go.
While Disney gave their World Showcase pitch in Florida, Jack Lindquist and C. Langhorne Washburn were in Washington, where they delivered personal invitations to 30 embassies to attend another presentation at Walt Disney World from October 10th to the 13th. Among the first to accept were Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Egypt, Morocco, Belgium, and Switzerland. Other nations attending presentations were Indonesia, Lebanon, Poland, Sweden, Canada, France, Ireland, Japan, Spain, and Zaire. Every one of these just makes me think, like, what could have been? Like, how amazing would these pavilions have been if this had happened?
Imagine the number of them,
The USSR indicated that their ambassador, Anatoly F. Dobrynin, would like to bring his family to Walt Disney World for a separate briefing on the concept. So they wanted a personal briefing. Cardwalker was excited by the interest. By the first of the year, he told the press, "We should have 5 or 6 countries committed. By next summer, I would hope that we'll be able to say we've got a show." Washburn was already scheduled to leave at the end of the month on a 17-day recruitment tour through a half dozen Western European countries. The State Department had arranged meetings for the Disney marketing department in Amsterdam, Athens, Copenhagen, Brussels, and Paris. Washburn, Lindquist, and Marty Sklar took part in this delegation. So you can imagine what that trip was like in 1975. Invitations to the meetings were arranged by the American embassies in each country. The local U.S. ambassador in each nation hosted the meetings and luncheons. Invitees were meant to represent a wide range of public and private influences. So you can see that the Kissinger connection was working out because they were working with the ambassadors at the embassies and having these
It's just crazy
sort of corporate functions at the embassies, which is kind of wild. Yeah. To be like, throw us a luncheon, please.
Mm-hmm.
Back home, Washburn had not taken long to establish his Washington office, located at 1666 K Street Northwest. K Street, man. 2 blocks north of the White House. And you can look this up on Google Maps. It is, there's an office building there. I don't know if it's the same office building, but there is an office building there. The office had been in operation since June of 75, keeping contact with a roster of foreign and domestic dignitaries with a staff of 3, Washburn, receptionist Gail Meyer, and administrative assistant Berta McGinnis. The press described a visit from a European ambassador to Disney's plush, ultramodern office, their quote, this way, quote, "He is led into a large boardroom dotted by posters and maps of Walt Disney World. The room is dominated by a giant wall screen, and after a brief introduction by World Showcase Vice President C. Langhorne Washburn, the lights go out and the wall screen goes on. What follows is a 40-minute extravaganza presenting the past, present, and future of Walt Disney Productions."
Man, I want to hang out there.
I know. It sounds like, I don't know, a Spectre office room or something, or like when Bond went to Japan and the office building there. I just imagine, the wall screens, push button convenience. And I want to see this 40-minute extravaganza about Walt Disney Productions.
Yeah, I do too. I wonder if they adapted the original EPCOT film with that part.
Oh, I'm sure it was in there. They had to use that at every opportunity, for sure.
Yep.
So Disney made presentations in Washington in December to members of Congress to promote the EPCOT project. Prior to the meetings, Disney announced that World Showcase had met with such enthusiasm from the nations which had been invited to participate that the project's timetable had been moved up. Everything's moving up. Construction for the development was now scheduled to begin in 1976 with a targeted opening day of October 1st, 1979. Again, very optimistic. Always optimistic. Quote, "We have had a great response from countries ranging all the way from Russia to the Philippines," said Disney marketing director Larry Pontius. According to Lang Washburn, some embassies had sent their entire DC staff to the Disney office to see the filmed EPCOT presentations. Pontius also relayed that a team of Disney executives would travel to Japan, Pakistan, and other countries in the East early in 1976. Domestic response had been favorable as well. "Vice President Rockefeller was in our office 2 nights ago," relayed Washburn. He quoted Rockefeller saying, "Nobody but the Disney organization could do this." That's so crazy to me.
That is crazy. Yeah.
Rockefeller. On Friday, December 12th, Disney held a lavish fete in the caucus room of the Cannon House office building. While the party was meant for members of Congress, they were allowed to send staff members in their place if they could not make it. It was here where Disney might have miscalculated somewhat. Congress adjourned 2 hours early on that Friday, and reporters relayed that some aides had made fun of the Disney event's 4 p.m. starting time. Quote, "I doubt if anybody will be left in town then," one staffer predicted. "You can always count on Congress to skip town, I suppose." Anytime they can get out of class early, they take it.
Huh.
In the end, around 30 members of 535 showed up to the event, which was hosted by the California and Florida delegations. But, said one reporter, whether it was the open bar, the good food, or the half-hour movie about Epcot, reaction to the Disney get-together was enthusiastic. As tuxedoed waiters prepared Gulf shrimp and bartenders poured stiff drinks, the guests made their way through mountains of Alaskan crabs, stuffed mushrooms, strawberries, and other inviting offerings. So that sounds, I'm down for all that. That works for me.
Yeah.
All the while, Disney representatives moved through the crowd, encouraging merriment and promoting EPCOT. "We don't want anything from Congress other than your interest and goodwill," Don Tatum promised as he introduced the film about EPCOT. Not all EPCOT gatherings were quite as posh as this, however. The Wednesday prior to the congressional presentation, Disney executives in Central Florida gave a pitch about World Showcase to area businessmen at a gathering sponsored by the local newspaper. In his speech, Larry Pontius thrilled the audience with his announcement that World Showcase would be opening a year earlier than previously announced. He also promised that Walt Disney World would not compete against the surrounding area in motel accommodations, with that area of the local economy still spooked by the previous year's downturn and suffering from a glut of overbuilding. Pontius said that Disney would not even think of building new rooms at Walt Disney World until occupancy rates in area accommodations reached a point that would justify it. So if you ever wonder why the Asian resort was never built, there you go. That's why.
Yeah, wow. What a different policy.
Yes, can you imagine? Just to be nice, just to not make you mad, we're just not going to build any more hotel rooms.
Right.
Pretty wild. And especially when, like I said earlier, they were running at 90+% capacity. They were selling out all their stock. So if they built the rooms, they'd probably fill them. So yeah, different world for sure. Local hoteliers were pleased to hear this, as you might imagine, while some seemingly unexpected businessmen also cheered the World Showcase concept. "Boy, oh boy, what a shot in the economical arm this is going to be," said Jack Holloway, president of ABC Drive-In Liquor Stores. Perhaps most succinct was realtor Ray Kingsbury, who stood up at the end of the presentation and shouted, "Hurry up!" So, as 1975 closed, EPCOT seemed to be underway. As Walker would say in his annual report for the year, quote, "It is my firm conviction that the need for EPCOT and the World Showcase has never been greater, that the timing is right, and that in Florida we have the right location. I am hopeful that by the time we celebrate our bicentennial on July 4th, 1976, we will be confident of enough foreign participation in the World Showcase to make the decision to proceed. If we do, it will become the focal point of our second phase of development at Walt Disney World."
It started in the mind of just one man. Then the dream inside became a plan. Now the time is almost at hand. We're getting ready. We're getting ready. 15 years ago we started small. What with people working hard and giving their all. Our dream kept growing strong and tall. We're almost ready. We're getting ready. Getting ready. The dream machine, Imagineers, the artists and the engineers, the working hands, caring hard, trying hard to do their part. We're getting ready for you. We're getting ready for you. We're getting ready for you. We're getting ready. We're getting ready. We're getting ready for you.
Michael, our first Walt Disney World trip was in 1982. We were fortunate enough then to see the brand new EPCOT Center. Very inspiring and exciting, of course. But our true mania for Disney started in 1984 with 2 trips where we stayed in the villas at Lake Buena Vista. And so, Michael, the village and all of Lake Buena Vista became primal Disney experiences for us. I mean, we're not just TTC folks here. We're original bus guys.
That is correct. Green and gold flagged bus to
that's
the
right.
villas. MK, EC, later
That's
ST
right.
in years to come.
Yep.
But it's funny. I was thinking about this recently because I was telling somebody, when we were kids, we always stayed at the villas. And it probably wasn't really that many times,
No.
but it was the formative trips that left such an impression, and the memories of those vacation villas being so strong. This was a big deal.
It was, and this was before the kind of, I don't know, the oversaturation of the bus system. And, the race to the bus stop every morning was the start
Fiercely
of your day.
contested.
It was exciting. It was what you did, and the bus came and it took you, and you didn't have to sit with, all millions of people, and went to the TTC, and there you were. So.
Yeah, absolutely. The old school unload area at the TTC, that very sort of mid-century design, that curved area with the overhang.
It's like the old World Showcase model of bus stations.
Yes, absolutely. All that original infrastructure. And yeah, those, when you could memorize all the flags you needed to know and could go from any point on property to any other point on property just by getting on the right bus.
That's right. Well, 2025 marks the 50th anniversary of a real crown jewel of the Disney property in its early days, the Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village, which is 50 years young this year. As we discussed, the town of Lake Buena Vista was in the works in short order after the initial build of the Vacation Kingdom was completed, or even before that. In reality, initial land studies showed this parenthetical growth surrounding Bonnet Creek and bracketing the circular city of EPCOT as planned by Walt very early on, set to be Disney's foray into real estate, and as it is often said, or was often said, was the prototype to the prototype, Michael.
Yeah, this is, I think, gets often forgotten, that they had this penciled in very, very early on as the place they were going to start getting real estate experience before they moved into EPCOT and sort of large scale development. And also a way to make some money off of some land that would otherwise be going unused when they could use the income,
Yes, absolutely. It's very post-Walt concept, and was in reality. Well, we could talk about Lake Buena Vista over a whole year of podcast, and maybe we should, but as soon as January of 1972, the Orlando Sentinel was outlining what the town would look like, and it wasn't small. According to Disney chairman Don Tatum, the town was being developed on 4,000 acres of Disney's 28,000 for, quote, people who are interested in a better quality of life. Well, sign me up for that.
I know I am.
Sounds nice. And the initial plans were, quote, executive townhomes, home sites, a commercial center, an industrial park area. Got to have the industrial park.
Yes.
The Orange Vista Hospital, a post office, golf course, and 4 high-rise motor inns. Tying the community together will be a network of canals, bicycle and hiking trails, and a variety of recreational pursuits. Michael, we talked a little bit about this in the 50th anniversary episode. Yes. Sounds very good.
Sounds great to me. And really being, driven by all these sort of new ideas and development going on at the time for walkable communities and this sort of mini modes of transportation, ways to get around, very recreation centered, and just sounds really pleasant.
That's right. Well, to that end, the article would go on to say that, quote, use of the family car will be discouraged by the possibility of visiting all important places via boat. Well, sure. Pathways, trails designed for bicycles, horses, electric carts, and pedestrians. Yes. Give me a horse and a boat. I'll hitch up my horse at the boat dock and go the rest of the way. This is like a dream.
I love the idea of riding down to the marketplace and like a hitching post, just tie up your horse,
right?
Go in and get some whatever you're after, and then head back to your villa.
It's very natural. The town was designed for 15,000 people, or planned at least, by the mid-1980s, I might add. So something very different than what would come to pass. And there are a lot of fun, different versions of this. And essentially, it was supposed to be in, several different neighborhoods around affinity interests and stuff. Really cool stuff. I love this kind of early to mid-70s planning that Disney was doing.
Yeah, and they did so many studies for these things where, starting small and then, but with growth planned throughout the 80s, as you say, and even beyond, of how big these places were eventually going to grow. They were projecting pretty massive developments.
Right. Yeah, nothing to snooze on that. Well, in this January 1972 announcement, it was stated that, quote, along waterways will be an area of convenience shops. Next will come a cluster of art, handicraft, and boutique shops and restaurants. Subsequent phases will include a suburban shopping center. Later in the year, a proclamation that, quote, shops and boutiques will be designed and set into the landscape for more fun shopping than for necessity, and the meandering bike paths and trails are designed to overthrow the all-powerful and sometimes obnoxious family car. So, yeah, this looks like a hodgepodge of what came to pass. Mostly, the ideas seem to have gotten pushed together here.
Yeah, and you can really see where they're drawing on a lot of original Epcot City ethos in the wanting to get away from automobiles and even original Disney World. I was thinking the other day how there used to be really no traffic signals on property because everything was laid out in such a way where you didn't really run into like a lot of traffic lights. There wasn't a lot of traffic because there wasn't supposed to be road traffic. You were supposed to go everywhere on the monorail or the bus or a people mover in the future wanting to be. So, yeah, really wanting to keep things natural and free of cars.
That's right. And it's a noble vision. I wish further efforts would have, the consistency of that would have been nice to see what it would look like today.
Yeah.
Well, the so-called Mammoth Shopping Center, the suburban one, would have to wait a few decades. But everything else in Lake Buena Vista began to evolve slowly through the early 70s. Disney announced buses would be used in the initial stages to connect Lake Buena Vista to the vacation area of the property. That's a slippery slope, fellas. Don't do it. This master plan of Lake Buena Vista would change constantly through the years. Failed attempts to build apartments, successful building of model homes, and a clubhouse for the golf course, and on it went. In July of 1974, a Disney spokesperson revealed that construction had begun on a 35-store shopping village to serve Lake Buena Vista on an all-new man-made lagoon. This was a separate contract from the townhouses and possible retirement center that were being planned for the town. Now, that is something that is so natural, I can't believe it didn't come to pass, the retirement center.
Absolutely. It makes me think of, in 2010, the novel, the Arthur C. Clarke story. Dave Bowman's mother lives in the city of Epcot in a retirement home.
That's right.
So, and that was written in, I don't know, like 80 or 82 or something like that.
About that.
So,
yes.
it is kind of surprising. They went through a lot of talks over. I feel like they took a couple of stabs at it over the years.
Right.
And it just never happened.
That's right. Well, as for the shopping village, it was designed by Heery & Heery, an Atlanta firm known oddly for building offices and baseball stadiums, including our dearly beloved Atlanta Fulton County Stadium.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Small world.
Of course, Disney's designers, collaborated with them. The original build-out was budgeted at $10 million. In August, the Sentinel claimed that the village would have, quote, not much in common with traditional malls. Instead, it will have 31 small shops, including no multi-store franchises. There will be 4 restaurants, including an oyster bar and a delicatessen. That sounds wonderful. And interesting that an initial build-out of it was no franchises.
Yeah. Sort of distinctive, unique boutiques And no, you think in later years, the focus would be on, we want named franchises. We want like big name companies to come in.
That's right.
But not then. It was totally different mindset.
That's right. It would say, instead of strips of stores, the unique shops will be scattered over 20 acres in 10 unconnected buildings built to residential scale. And I think that's an important key point in all of this, is that it was kind of a smaller scale, a really approachable, and everything kind of fit into the landscape so well. That's something we'll talk about as they continue to develop it, but really successful vision, I think, of that.
Yeah, it was very, very appealing. And you can still see some of the original buildings that are sort of remained undercover kind of, but it really was just a pleasant place.
Well, so it was. As the Lake Buena Vista shopping village began to rise over the newly created Buena Vista Lagoon, Disney wondered, how do you populate specialty stores? A February 1975 Sentinel article, exactly 1 month before the shopping village was slated to open, laid bare Disney's anxiety, with spokesperson Roger Swanson saying, quote, "We've tried, but we're really having trouble filling the jobs." Indeed, classifieds were ripe with opportunities, and the article clamored for, quote, "floral arrangers, dog groomers, tropical fish and exotic birds caretakers, girls and women's fashion salespersons, candy makers, butcher experienced in making unusual cuts of meat, wickerware weavers, salesmen knowledgeable in high-quality toy imports, tobacco blenders, cigar rollers, salespersons experienced in fine china and crystals and silverware, oyster shuckers, and other categories."
And the partridge in a pear tree.
Help.
Yeah, well, we always talk about in the early days, Orlando being a much smaller place, and where are we going to get all the construction people? Where are we going to get all the whatever that we need? You never think about, where are we going to get our experts in exotic fish maintenance or whatever?
We're going to do some unique stores, but where will the people come from?
Yeah.
Quite the variety there.
Yes, it really sends the mind reeling at what was going to be offered here.
Yes, it does. Quite.
Especially those cuts of meat. I wanted.
They have to be strange and bizarre.
Yes.
Well, luckily, Orlando and the surrounding area came to Disney's call eventually, and the village would be ready for its debut for invited guests on March 22nd, 1975. Well, what would shoppers find when they arrived at a new shopping village? According to the Sentinel, they would find, quote, "it." More specific are some wonderfully evocative ads that Disney put in local papers under the banner of Discover, an award-winning campaign that led people to find what was located at the village. And here is a sampling of these wonderful ads. How long has it been since you were swept up in the sweet sense of discovery? When a new taste, a new touch, a new sight or sound or experience taught you to appreciate life a little bit more than you did before. The shopping village was imagineered to do that for you. It's not what you'd think a center for shopping should be. It's what you'd dream. Because it was built for you by the people who had spent a lifetime learning how to make dreams come true. This Saturday you can discover the village. It's worth the drive out I-4 to Lake Buena Vista, 535 exit. It's worth the whole day, exploring each of the 33 quaint little cedar-shingled shops and restaurants. It's worth the experience to learn a little bit more about the world, about yourself, and about how good this thing we call life really is. Discover the Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village, open this Saturday and every day after, 10 till 10. It's a place so different, so unique, so exciting. Only the Disney people could have done it. Well,
wow.
That is Draper level here. So
That is. It's just not a shopping experience. It's a way of life, they make it sound like.
Teach us about the world. What else is going on there?
Well, I'm glad you ask, because I want people to know they could discover the world's first floating brunch. Picture your Sunday brunch beginning on the waters of the Buena Vista Lagoon. You'll board the bright blue and white float boat at the village dock. Take a champagne sail through the sparkling waters of Walt Disney World's host community and disembark at the luxurious Lake Buena Vista Club. Strolling musicians will lure you inside with their morning magic, where the executive chef will serve you his magnificent breakfast banquet. Later, your champagne ship will sail you back for a beautiful day at the spectacular new Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village. Call for reservations today. 828-3735, this Sunday, 10 a.m. till 2 p.m., $450 per person.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a steal.
That is a steal at twice the price.
Wandering musicians that lure me in. I mean, that's...
I
no
only hope
problem.
it would be Stratton and Christopher in their Pied Piper outfits.
It could be very well. Well, I'm not feeling like being so tied down. I'd like to get my food and go. So may I invite us to discover a special feast for a special friend. Choose his favorite imported or domestic wine from the village spirits. Add an appropriately mellow block of international cheese. Then surround it with some fresh loaves of San Francisco sourdough and other gourmet goodies. Hark! You've created a Christmas feast fit for a king or your favorite friends. Then let the gourmet pantry attractively arrange your personalized smorgasbord in a holiday basket and deliver it free of charge within a 25-mile radius from $15. The Gourmet Pantry, 828-3286.
Well, that sounds great, but I'm going to need more than just something to eat on this adventure. In fact, I need a little shopping adventure. So that's why I'm going to discover a sterling treasure ship on a silver sea at 24-karat precious adornments. The three-masted Spanish galleon sails across the silver-capped waves as a glowing, glittering array of precious gems, antique jewelry, and elegant gifts look on. Discover very special valuables at 24 karat. Then explore 32 more cedar-shingled shops clustered amidst the trees and flowers on the banks of the Buena Vista Lagoon. The Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village, opening Saturday, March 22nd, a place so different, so unique. Only the Disney people could have done it.
Well, pure luxury.
Get on that galleon.
I say. Yes. A lot of places you could look at some fancy items on Disney property at this point, but it makes me hungry again, so I think we should go discover bouillabaisse on a blue lagoon. Three walls of wooden framed windows, a ceiling full of purple sky, and a perfect pair of indoor ficus trees look west over the beautiful Buena Vista Lagoon. The lower dining room of the village restaurant is absolutely spectacular. The offerings of the open hearth are even better. Prime rib, steak Oscar, Long Island duckling, broiled lobster, chicken in a silver basket, and succulent seafood stew, New Orleans bouillabaisse. Discover lunch and dinner dining as nature meant it to be at the village restaurant. Then explore 32 more cedar-shingled shops clustered amidst the trees and flowers on the banks of a blue lagoon. The Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village, opening Saturday, March 22nd. A place so different, so unique, so exciting. Only the Disney people could have done it.
Only the Disney people could put chicken in a silver basket. I mean, come on.
That's true.
We need Brian Miles to come on and tell us what steak Oscar is, because I bet he knows.
Yes, that was a specialty, and I'm sure he could tell us, and maybe he will at the live stream.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. We need to have just a cooking episode where we whip up one. Well, that sounds great. But speaking of friends of the podcast and friends of the blog, I think it's only fair we should give a shout out to one who has written greatly about the village in the past and discover foxy fashion madness. Celebrate today's saucy, sassy, silly, sophisticated styles with Miss Merrily. From knickknacks to nightgowns, French Connection jeans to free-flowing formal wear, shoes to shades, there's everything to send the contemporary Ms. Merrily on her way. Discover madness at Miss Merrily's in the village. Then explore 32 more cedar shingle shops, clustered amidst the trees and flowers. On the banks of the Buena Vista Lagoon, the Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village open next Saturday. A place so different, so unique, so exciting. Only the Disney people could have done it.
Now, this is a store I wish I could have seen with my own
I bet
eyes.
Miss Merrily's madness was just really amazing.
Yes, truly. Truly, another one, that I wish I could have seen, truly missing from a, small marketplace is a little flower shop. So I think we should discover how to say I love you in Hawaiian. There's only one huge, red, heart-shaped flower in the world. The anthurium. We fly it in fresh from our 50th state. It's one loving part of the most unique plant boutique in Central Florida. Discover the anthurium in the Village Flower Garden. Then explore one by one 32 more cedar shingled shops cluttered amidst the trees and flowers on the banks of the Buena Vista Lagoon. Etc., etc.
Etc., etc. I just love how wordy ads were back then, man.
They were wonderfully wordy, and the cedar shingles, man, getting a lot of play.
Cedar shingles had a prominent selling feature. That's all great. This has all been for grown-up stuff, though. You need something for the kids. What you gonna do for the kids? Well, that's why I'm gonna discover the smallest electric railroad in the world.
Oh, yes.
Created by the West German masters of Marklin. The Z-Gauge Mini Club locomotive is smaller than a match. Really?
What?
Discover the See to Believe collection of European toys at Toys Fantastique. Then explore one by one 32 more cedar shingle shops, clustered amidst the trees and flowers on the banks of the Buena Vista Lagoon. Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village opening March 22nd. So different, so unique, so exciting. Only the Disney people could have done it. Toys Fantastique, Jeff.
Ah, yes, Toys Fantastique. Very European, very old world. But what if you could discover a 2-story antique treasure chest, I ask you, at Von Otto's in the village? For the curious, there's sterling silver spoon warmers, oriental jade feelies, amber African barter beads, ivory-handled fish forks, or moss agate snuff bottles. For the collector, there's a 16th century Italian bridal chest, Victorian rosewood vitrines, Miller armoires, Italian Empire secretaries, a dream collection of Directoire, Art Nouveau, Second Baroque, and other substyles, plus Davenport, Minton, mutton fat jade. Discover antiques at Von Otto's in the village. Then do other things at the 32 smear shingled shops. Clustered amidst the trees and flowers on the banks of the Buena Vista Lagoon, the Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village opened March 22nd. So different, so unique, so exciting. Only the people at Disney could have done it. Now, you can't have good retail entertainment without an antique store with some weird stuff like Oriental Jade Feelies.
You got to get those feelies. That store sounds like, that ad was written by Stefan from Saturday Night Live.
Yes, it does.
Like, this store has everything.
It does.
Oriental Jade Feelies. That is an incredible place. It sounds like, with all sorts of things no one could possibly ever need, but yet I want them all.
Yeah, well, yes. And I want to, I am enticed. I'm going to take the drive down I-4.
On March 22nd.
Yes. I want to see what's there.
I'm assuming Von Otto's named for Otto Robbie, the famous antique buyer who bought all the stuff for the antique shop in the Magic Kingdom.
One would assume. Yeah, it seems to have his fingerprints
buying up antiquities. Yes. He got his own shop. He made it after all.
Yeah.
Well, that all sounds like an exhausting shopping experience. In fact, I picture Von Otto's being like the rooms in Return to Oz with all the mementos where she had to go around and figure out, I don't know, what was being hidden there. So sounds very tiring, this day of shopping, but you got to unwind at the end of the day. You got to kick back. That's why I'm going to discover saltwater in the village Chummery. When the shops close and the village settles down to sleep, one tiny corner remains alive and awake in the night. It's the village Chummery, the new home of the exciting Saltwater Express, the caustic combination of soft songs and sharp wits that have been railroading the crowds at Captain Cook's Hideaway for 3 great years. Discover Bob Christopher and Gary Stratton at the Chummery in the Village Restaurant at the new Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village, performing every night except Mondays, 10 till 2. So different, so unique, so exciting. Only the Disney people could have done it. Jeff, they're going to railroad us.
They are. Oh, I guess they would with 4-hour sets. This is E Street Band over here. Goodness gracious.
Really, 4-hour set of
every night.
That caustic. No wonder the commentary is caustic.
Yeah, it sounds intense, but I know that it's pleasant, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's more aggressive than I assumed it was.
I know. I love the soft songs, but apparently some sharp elements as well.
Yeah, I mean they got taken out of the Hideaway and put right in the Chummery. That tells you about Disney's intentions here, I think.
What a great name is the Chummery.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, they could name some stuff back in the day.
Well, and they could write some ads, man. This really does make me want to go.
Yes. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. It really paints a picture for sure.
It speaks to me personally. A lot of my interests are on display.
Yeah, it is weirdly focused, hyper-focused on our interests, I feel like, this 50-year-old shopping village.
Well, it ended up being built at that residential scale we talked about, described in early plans, with a California contemporary style of dark woods, bricks, and the cedar shingles. Don't forget them.
Mm.
Quite lovely. The place was designed to be an old world style marketplace, complete with beautiful plantings, craftspeople, and of course, elegant statuary, Michael. They had the statues back then. It's old world.
Yeah, they would always pop those in a Disney News when they were talking about the village. You'd have some sort of fancy Renaissance statue.
Yeah, you get like the Neptune statue at sunset, just nice. A bunch of flowers. It's an interesting combination of things that is distinctly it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for the gala opening, 2,500 VIPs and friends were invited from all over to browse, no buying please, and were treated to champagne and gourmet snacks. The who's who huddled underneath the captain's tower, that iconic pagoda built for exhibits and gatherings. Local wet blanket Lynn Trexler, who ran the column Clothesline, bemoaned the number of men wearing Panama straw hats with their elegant black tuxedos at the gala. Quote, "Some folks forgot to put on their good manners when they donned their party clothes. Hundreds of guests gathered in their party best to browse through the shops. The shops weren't open for business, so when some fellows spotted the hats, they simply plopped them on their heads and wandered off to the next attraction. In the candy shop, guests were invited to sample the assorted confections. Some liked the candy so well that they decided to take it home. It wasn't uncommon to see men's pockets brimming with candies and women's clutching overflowing evening bags with one hand and half a dozen all-day suckers with the other, which all might lead one to suspect that perhaps good manners are going out of style."
Oh, burn.
Not having it.
Rita Skeeter of the Orlando
That's
Sentinel.
right. More joyous was the report from the Tea Table Chatter column, which reported, quote, "Disney Stardust was sprinkled liberally over the preview opening. Captain Jack seemed to like the place to be that night." Columnist Susie Hupp mentioned several folks of interest, but noted that Dick and June Nunes flew in from California for the gala. Can you see Dick Nunes just with a whole table full of oysters, just loving life?
Going to town.
That's right.
And definitely not wearing a Panama hat.
No, he would never. He might take it one all-day sucker, that's it.
Yeah.
Architect Oru Bose and a cute young thing were there, as well as Sue and Steve Foreman. Quote, "Steve, with his foot and leg cast propped up on a coffee table, sat beneath a giant macrame hanging at the village restaurant." According to Susie, the best part was, quote, "the formally gowned woman who scooped up her long skirts and waded across a pond after a floating flower." There was no clarification of whether or not this was Cinderella, who was also presented a glass slipper at Crystal Arts. So quite the night to start it off here.
Sounds like things were really popping off at the party. Yeah.
Steve Foreman just camped out under the macrame hanging, you know?
I mean, that's where I would be.
Well, what did the regular Joe on the street non-VIP think about the Lake Buena Vista shopping village at the time? Luckily, the Sentinel was there as well. As the 614 space parking lot stood at capacity, going to need more room for those family cars, darn it. Shoppers and browsers were interviewed. Clarence Mitchell, a retiree from Syracuse, New York, planned to buy some blackberry wine because, quote, "I hadn't seen any since I was in Detroit." That, of course, could be procured at the Village Spirit store. A doctor in Miss Gill Punches of Vero Beach marveled at the transparent toilet seat, inlaid with $1 bills and coins, selling for $180 in the bath parlor.
What? That's real classy. I'm getting that.
Mrs. James O'Brien marveled at the $5,000 solid brass miniature replica of the Taj Mahal, one of only 3 in the world. How they would know, nobody knows. Kelly Roberts mused that he was searching for the right gift for a special girlfriend after buying greeting cards at 2Rs. Quote, "I don't think there's any place like it. The planning makes it look so natural. Everything blends in." Indeed, Michael, this aesthetic of this era of the village is without parallel. The signage, the iconography. The village took the theme shopping center concept that had been popular on West Coast at places like the Ports of Call Village at Long Beach and made it completely complementary and of one piece. I mean, just the solidarity of it all is really amazing.
Yeah, and the Disney, like the sign shop, just all their like wood shops and that kind of stuff. The local craftsmen, the signs that they designed and cranked out for this place were amazing. Like everything is so distinctive and unique and totally of its era and just super appealing.
It absolutely is. This rundown of shops and items described shows a couple of things. There are some convenience stores in the end, but this was aimed to be an experience in line with the merchandise stores in the parks at the time, which we talked about. You know, this was supposed to be entertaining as well as convenient. I mean, more entertaining than anything, really. A destination.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is something we've talked about a lot over the episodes, that merchandise used to be part of the show, used to be a really big part of the show. And I mean, where else are you going to find a transparent toilet seat with dollar bills in it? I guess.
True, yeah.
I mean,
coins.
That's something you're going to remember after your vacation.
Priced to not sell,
just a conversation starter, conversation piece. I also thought it was nice that the 2 R's was mentioned, because that was still there when we were going.
Oh, yes. It was there for a long time. Absolutely. In addition to the exciting and unique merchandise, don't forget the craftspeople. Guests could watch live basket weaving, metal engraving, and inlay at Toledo Arts. They could see pottery being fired indoors or outdoors at the Giant Pottery Chalet. You could see candle making and wood crafting outdoors. Sounds like a great day, combined with the wonderful food choices of the Village Restaurant, the evergreen Captain Jack's Oyster Bar, which lasted forever, Heidelberger's Deli, and Light Bite, whose deli meats didn't arrive in time for opening day, so they slung burgers and dogs.
At Light Bite.
Don't got enough money for what you want? No worries. There's a Lake Buena Vista Village credit card you can charge everything to. This was Disney's first foray into the world of credit cards, usable at Lake Buena Vista, Fort Wilderness, and other Disney resorts. I really just want a Lake Buena Vista Village credit card now, Michael.
Heck yes. I'm willing to. First, we need to find some pictures of them. And I'm willing to hire a forger to forge me one, because I want a Lake Buena Vista.
What would be great is to put your chip into a faux Lake Buena Vista.
Yeah, just pry it out of my regular ATM card and put it in there. Yeah.
One of the most important roles, it seems, of the Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village, and indeed the Lake Buena Vista Club as well, was to connect Walt Disney World to the surrounding area in a way that the existing Vacation Kingdom could not. It was right off I-4 for one, much more conducive for little receptions and luncheons and the business of communities. And don't forget the goodies, from unique wines, cuts of beef, exotic brewed Kenyan and Colombian coffees, and even the sourdough bread that was flown in from San Francisco every other day and seen being picked up by a man in a Cadillac. Got to get that sourdough.
Wow.
In many ways, the Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village brought the world to the Orlando area too, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little taste of everything from all over.
Yeah. And just, again, I mean, we made light of moving the Saltwater Express to the Chummery, but it does speak volumes of are you more likely to go connect with the community around you, driving through the whole empty property, or setting up shop right off of I-4. I mean, it's just kind of like a little outpost of Disney right there by the real world.
Yeah. And when you look back at sort of eyes and ears stuff from the 70s, it becomes apparent that that the village was a hangout for locals, that they would have events, that locals would come attend there.
Yeah, speaking of which, the world was brought in through visiting artisans, authors, exhibits, and this started fairly quickly. And through the year of 1975 would build into quite the roster of community events. Noted china makers, fashion designers, poets came through town to push their wares. In September, potpourri, an evening of music, dancing, and moonlight cruises on the Buena Vista Lagoon, was held, modeling fashions from the shopping village and benefiting the American Cancer Society. In October, the Central Florida Marine Trade Association would hold the first boat show at the shopping village, with a mishap that injured 7. Luckily, no one was seriously hurt, and the show would continue in subsequent years. Man. In late October through November, the village held its first art festival with cash awards of $7,500 and exhibitors from all over North America. Again, with the parking lot overflowing, browsers browsed and art was awarded. Later in November, South African art was on display in the Colonnade des Arts, just a beehive of culture in the host community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like the root of a lot of the offerings today at Epcot, festival wise.
Yes.
Like Festival of the Masters started here at the Village, and it was really a predecessor of like the Arts Festival now at Epcot.
It's true. Yeah. To cap it all off would be the first Living Nativity, held in December. Interestingly, the first year had participants dressed in authentically styled 13th century costumes. According to Tom Pierce, a costume designer at Walt Disney World, quote, "During the 13th century, each village would set up a stage and recreate the Christmas story. People of that day, butchers, bakers, flour sellers, would participate by bringing gifts, as did the wise men." Another strike for the old world, Michael. This is just so many layers of thought. It's staggering. But the first year that creche was held underneath the captain's tower. So just
that's interesting.
It's just interesting, the old world aspect and how they were sticking to that.
Yeah, I guess they had the costumes from the madrigal singers at the Magic Kingdom that would go around or whatever at the time. Yeah, they love that era.
If you combine the Christmas pageant with the 42-foot trailer filled with Apollo mission memorabilia that was open for free, you got me wanting to see the village tonight, Michael. That is something.
That is really cool. Yeah, I'd go see that. When the Apollo truck pulls into town, I'm there.
Clearly, the shopping village was off to a great start and was in position to be expanded in 1977 when it would become the Walt Disney World Village and have the Empress Lily riverboat added, itself inspired by another West Coast marvel, the Reuben E. Lee of Newport Beach. But that is another story for another year. We'll just have to leave that, as we are late for a dinner at the village restaurant, and our party is waiting underneath the macrame.
You know, for some time as youths, we shared a bedroom upstairs in our house, and the nightly shenanigans often included virtual visits to Walt Disney World. This was very theater of the mind kind of stuff.
Quite, yes.
Yeah, very, very virtual reality without the equipment.
Yes. Night visualization.
Exactly. Yes. Just sort of projecting ourselves there. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought for the occasion of our trip back to 1975, we could do something similar and take an imaginary voyage to the Vacation Kingdom as it was 50 years ago. We are recording this episode in July of 2025, so I went back and looked up what was going on at the resort during the same month of 1975, and it goes a little something like this. Back in 1975, if you weren't arriving via monorail or motor launch from one of the two hotels or Fort Wilderness, all trips to the Magic Kingdom began at the Transportation and Ticket Center. There was no bus parking complex at the Magic Kingdom in those days, just vast lawns full of topiary. How do you come down on that issue, the bus parking at MK or not?
It's complicated, Michael. It's complicated because we were there when it got put in. I remember being scandalized. Yeah. I would say aesthetically I'm against it, but when you're staying down south, it takes a long time to get that bus.
Yeah.
So I'm mixed. I'm not going to go one way or the other. What about you?
I know it's the same thing. It's hard, from a convenience standpoint, it is what it is, but I kind of like that old feeling of the Magic Kingdom being detached from the world and just having this green belt around it.
And the lovely, at that time, the flower beds of the TTC. So dramatic.
Yes, very.
Beautiful. It was a true hub of activity.
It's true.
And it still is today, but yeah. I loved it when it was most operationalized right before they built the bus stops. And I was like, no, they can't do that.
I know. You
Magic
can't
Kingdom.
bypass the TTC. It was critical. If you were coming to the Magic Kingdom by bus, you would disembark at one of the Transportation and Ticket Center terminals, these sort of old school bus terminals, very mid-century. I love them. And you would join the day guests in taking a monorail or ferry boat across the lagoon to the park. Now, Jeff, you have a pet. I suppose you could always leave him at the doggy daycare here in the modern day, but you'd get a much better deal back at the Cal-Can Kennel Club,
Yes.
located at the TTC, where he would be able to get lodgings for the day for 50 cents.
Oh my gosh.
And that includes one
50
feeding. 50
cents?
is your regular doggy spa 50 cents a day? I doubt it.
No, it's not. It's quite more than that. But and we have our Cal-Can brand loyalty from being youngsters watching the Disney Christmas special.
Absolutely. It was, I tell you, those sponsorships, partnerships really paid off.
That's true.
We didn't even
They
have a
did.
dog, but we were loyal to Cal-Can because
That's right.
Because they were united with the Disney brand. But 50 cents, I love the idea of paying for anything just with pocket change back in the day.
It's hard to conceive.
Yeah, it really is, which we'll see more of that as we go along. So we'd better buy some tickets for ourselves before we cross the lagoon. And luckily we have plenty of options. You didn't have to worry about reservations or Lightning Lane or Fast Pass or whatnot back then. Just had to buy a park general admission pass. And usually that came with an accompanying book of tickets, which would get you onto the individual rides. So just to get into the park, no rides, was a flat $6 for adults, $5 for juniors, which is a now forgotten category they had for kids 12 to 17. I think they eventually just made those kids adults.
Right.
And $3 for children just to get in the gate. No rides.
Yeah, and I love the idea that I was very Passport pro as a youth, but when not to get too much into recent Disney history, but when Genie came out, I was like, they should have just gone back to the ticket books. That would have made a lot of sense at that point in time. If they needed to control the wait times, do the ticket books.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people who think about these things and study these things say that maybe the time has come to go back to that, because I mean that's essentially with Lightning Lane. It's just a sort of a pricier stab at an old ride ticket kind of. So maybe go back to that. It was an interesting way of doing things, and only really changed in '82, and that was only because of EPCOT. So it's an option.
You can't put a price on Wonders of China, for instance.
Exactly. I know.
Yeah.
That's all right. Some tickets are too E to be numbered by any letter of the alphabet.
Right. Too many centuries to put a letter on it.
That's right. Well, the ticket books were the real deals. Reasonably priced, the 8 adventure ticket book, which would get you into the park and onto 8 attractions, would set adults back $7.25. For just $1 more, you could get a 12 adventure ticket book. So $8.25, you get into the park, you get 12 rides. That's not bad. And especially
Sounds
with
like a good
as
deal.
packed as it probably was in the summer of 75, are you really going to get 12 rides in a day? Maybe. Just never know.
Get the Main Street Cinema in.
Yeah, exactly. If you were a multi-day visitor, which was rarer in those days than it is now, maybe not so much in the summer though, you could get the 17 adventure ticket book, which included 2 days admission to the park, admission to 16 attractions, and a coupon for the world cruise to Treasure Island. And all of that for only $15. So that's it.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, that's a good deal. 2 days for $15. Another great deal, which kind of surprised me, guided tours for $9 per adult. You would get admission to the Magic Kingdom, a 3.5-hour walking tour of the park featuring 5 attractions, and then admission to 2 other attractions of your choice, which, no wonder our parents took the tour when they went back then.
Gosh, yeah, and talk about a change in price structure.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, it amazed me when I saw that park admission was included in that. It wasn't just the tour and the rides, but yeah, admission too. So, and of course, all these ticket books would also get you access to Walt Disney World transportation. So we use our pass to board the ferry boat or monorail and head on over to the Magic Kingdom. Now, this was July of 1975, so the park was already knee-deep in patriotic fervor for the upcoming American Bicentennial. The festivities had just kicked off and were set to run for a year, and you know what that means. America on parade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Twice a day this summer at 3 and at 9 p.m., the massive parade would set off through the park. Now, we've talked about this in the past, but it's worth revisiting the fact that the parade was 3/4 of a mile long, which never fails to amaze me. Featured over 50 parade units averaging 22 feet in height and more than 25 feet in length. And it also had 150 8-foot-tall, doll-like People of America walking in and among the parade units. This parade was ridiculous.
It was, and they had the giant sandwich too. We always have to mention
the giant sandwich. Absolutely. The big pot of mustard is good stuff.
The music's wild, all of it. Yeah.
Witches getting dunked, everything. Suffragettes. It was a massive undertaking. When you think there were just 150 people in those doll costumes alone, then good grief. How many people were required to run the whole show? But they did it twice a day. Every evening, the late parade would be followed by a red, white, and blue fireworks show at 10 p.m. if you hadn't had enough spectacle. But there's more patriotism to be had as we explore the park. We could drop into the Hall of Presidents in Liberty Square, which was made into a complimentary attraction for the bicentennial year. That's nice of them. Also complimentary was Tomorrowland's America the Beautiful, Monsanto's Circle Vision 360 salute to the bicentennial. So a couple of free things to do. So that's nice. Yeah. That's on top of the adventures that you get in your ticket book.
Yeah, and If You Had Wings was free.
If You Had Wings was free, as was the Carousel of Progress.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of good stuff. Some of the best stuff actually for free.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go back to Main Street. Jeff, it was 1975. You're on Main Street. What would you do first?
Well, I want to see some of the stores, but I'm so hot already. I'm just burning up. I think I'm going to go in the hospitality house and just sit down for a second and look at some maps.
Well, that's very good. Our friends at Gulf have provided the hospitality house for us to take in some maps. Plan our next excursion, where we're heading next on our vacation. Maybe find out some more about other Central Florida locations. You never know.
That's true.
There's all sorts of stuff going on in there. Just cool off.
I want to read about the Bach Tower a little bit.
Exactly. They would know. Yeah. Personally, I think I would head for the Penny Arcade, which, according to the guidebook, you could have a whale of a time for a penny, nickel, or dime. Which was amazing to me as a kid. You could literally get something for a penny.
I know. And a lot for a penny, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Get a whole game or a whole little girly show on the flipping cards. You never know. Just a penny, though. It's good stuff. Maybe I'd follow that up with a visit to the House of Magic, which was always a favorite.
Absolutely.
Get some tricks.
Yes.
Some spooky masks, which they loved back in the day. Of course, the Main Street Cinema was still operational then. I was kind of surprised to realize it was a ticketed attraction. There was an A ticket to get into.
I know. Cinema. So you got to decide if you want to use it for the Jitney or the Main Street Cinema.
That's right. Yeah.
A tickets are nothing to sniff at.
Yeah. Ride the omnibus or go into the cinema and see some old-timey movies back when it really was. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even Disney films. It was old silent classics. Of course, we could see the Walt Disney Story, another free attraction where the Town Square Theater is now. But, the shops are entertainment too, especially when you got wacky shops like the Wonderland of Wax. God love that.
Yes.
The Tobacconist. Mm-hmm. Get some cigar boxes to sell on eBay 50 years later and make a mint.
Absolutely.
Or the greenhouse, where you could buy flowers, bouquets, and corsages. Like a nice sporty corsage to wear through my day at the Magic Kingdom.
Please, yes.
Yeah. Well, in Adventureland, there aren't so many big differences in Adventureland as we make our way through the park. The Big E tickets, Jungle Cruise, and Pirates are already there, as is the Tiki Room. Although the Tiki Room was still sponsored by the Florida citrus growers, so we might be lucky enough to run into the Orange Bird as we enjoy our treats at the Sunshine Tree Terrace. There is an arcade in Adventureland, the Caribbean Arcade, which is located near Pirates. It's one of those long forgotten things. And there are a variety of different shops and food locations. A lot of these shops were the sort of old merch theory of selling imported goods from various far-flung locales.
Yeah, I mean, it's just as we talked about, the kind of entertainment idea of merchandising. So, and you're going to find very few redundancies in all these shops, I would think, and which is really an incredible thing to ponder. Of like every land you go in is going to have different merch. Every store you're going to go in is going to have different merch.
Definitely, and that was so intentional and really invited exploration and invited you to go around and spend more money, because it wasn't the same four things in every shop. It was exciting to see what you were going to find. There's the Adventureland Veranda, the famous Adventureland Veranda. Now it's where Skipper's Canteen is now. And you can go get your teriyaki burger, your little burger with a pineapple slice on top.
Yes.
Very exotic. Adjacent to it is the Veranda Juice Bar, which was later renamed Aloha Isle and is now the current location of the Sunshine Tree Terrace. So get yourself some juice. Juice, very prominent feature in early Magic Kingdom.
Yes, well, it was a juice age and a citrus forward place. But Veranda Juice Bar is a really appealing name.
Yeah,
and so is the Veranda in general. It's like, I wish they would have worked Veranda into Skipper Canteen's name.
Yes, that would have been great.
Nice. Yeah.
It's very inviting. Exactly.
Yeah.
Essentially, we've lost verandas both in Adventureland and at the Polynesian. So there were verandas everywhere.
True.
Now we have none.
Yeah, there was a veranda-rich context as well.
Yes, exactly. You got to sit on the veranda with your juice. And
I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big juice guy, but maybe. I mean, I probably would. Yeah.
Well, we moved from Adventureland into Frontierland. Of course, there's no Big Thunder or Splash Mountain. Country Bears was the Big E ticket, and Tom Sawyer the Big D ticket, and all that entailed. But the Diamond Horseshoe Review is still running and is a free experience, so we can enjoy the show and some snacks for lunch. I'm realizing now as I go through, there was a lot that was free once you made it into the park.
That's right. Yeah.
A lot of complimentary
admission for nothing. That's right.
Yeah. Now remember, this was Pepsi territory at the time. So you could expect Frito-Lay snacks at the Mile Long Bar and Pecos Bill Cafe. And on Tom Sawyer Island, you could get snacks and drinks at Aunt Polly's, R.I.P., and soft drinks at Fort Sam Clemens. Even had drinks out there.
Which, yeah, you can kind of, or you could see the vestiges is the word I'm thinking of. But, yeah. The crazy thing is Pepsi was so interwoven into Disneyland lore.
Yeah.
But, growing up, it was all Coke at the time we were at Walt Disney World. And imagining Pepsi at Walt Disney World is impossible for me.
It just seems so
I cannot.
Strange and
Yes.
wrong.
Yes, that's right. It does.
Yeah, sorry, PepsiCo, but it's just weird.
Yeah. Bring the Fritos, leave the Pepsi.
Exactly. I need my Cokes. Absolutely. Especially in the heat, the Florida heat, I need my Cokes. It's just it's just how it is, how it was meant to be.
It's the way it is. Yeah.
So we head to Liberty Square, get our complimentary showing of Hall of Presidents. Of course, take in the Haunted Mansion, which was a Big E ticket. We could take one of the 2 river boats then available, or the Mike Fink keel boats to explore the river and see what there is to be seen out there. The Liberty Tree Tavern and Columbia Harbor House are still holding it down, of course, much the same as today. You got it. Fish and Chicks transcends time.
That's yes. I mean, some things will never die, only just get more patina in a lovely, lovely way.
Exactly.
Like a mast, perhaps.
Right. Or one of those little dials that tells you how fast to go, Annunciator.
Right.
Yeah. There's a variety of shops available, and these are really different than today. All sorts of things. You've got the Tri-Cornered Hat Shoppy. You got Mademoiselle Lafayette's Perfumery. You got the Old World Antiques. You got the Silversmith. Johnny Tremaine involved there. At the Yankee Trader Gourmet Culinary Aids, you could find unusual cooking and serving accessories. Which I'm like, how unusual? I'm curious to know. In the 70s, unusual cooking accessories goes a long way.
Who knows? Yeah, it's true. Well, you could have some unusual cooking accessories with the unusual slices of meat down at the shopping village. So
that's very true. Very true. Yeah. Unusual Jell-O molds. Who knows? I bet they had Jell-O molds. You guarantee.
I'm sure they did. They had to.
Well, Fantasyland is full of now lost attractions, perhaps more than any other. There's the big E-ticket, of course, which was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. There's also the D-ticket Mickey Mouse Review and 2 C-tickets, Snow White's Scary Adventures and Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Now, I kind of dispute rating Toad a C-ticket, although I get it, but it feels to me it's more than your standard dark ride.
Yeah, it's a level above Snow White.
Snow White, for sure. I definitely agreed. I was it's at least a C plus, if not a D minus. But miss those guys. Miss the smell of 20,000 Leagues, like the chlorine and the boats and the diesel, and that was good stuff.
Well, it's kind of like the end of the back of the park was really emphasized by that kind of horizon line too. I mean, it's just kind of cool.
Yeah, they did a great job landscaping that sort of back wall behind it of rock and plants, and made it seem like you would have no clue what was actually behind there.
Right. And how unexciting it was.
Which is not exciting at all, but It seems like there's just a wilderness forever, which is, man, they were good at what they did back then.
Yes, truly.
Yeah. In Cinderella Castle, you could dine at King Stephen's Banquet Hall, which never made sense.
Right.
And you could shop for imported European goods at the King's Castle, which was downstairs.
Very fancy.
Very fancy, yeah. Buy a suit of armor or a sword or something.
Right.
If you want some Welch's juice products, there's juice again. You could head to the Troubadour Tavern.
Telling you, man, juice
is, get a juice. Maybe they sold juicers at Yankee Trader.
They could have.
If you want Borden's ice cream, you could hit up the Round Table, which is what they sold there. More spooky masks available at Merlin's Magic Shop. I forgot there was another spooky mask place near the Keel Boats, a Keel Boat sort of shop.
That's right. They did, yes.
Masks.
And that was there for maybe the longest time.
Yeah, probably. It could have been, yeah. Also souvenirs at the Aristocats, which was there.
So, doesn't make sense.
Lots of stuff available. Tomorrowland, of course, we covered in our last episode. It's full of new things, including Space Mountain, the General Electric Carousel of Progress, the Starjets, and something we didn't bring up on the last show, Mission to Mars, which had replaced Flight to the Moon in June of 1975. So that's another new attraction.
Wow, welcome in. It's so different than Flight to the Moon.
Yeah, that's right.
But,
no one's
a different
blood
mission.
Literally boils.
That's right.
It had good synergy with the much-hyped Viking landers, which were set to arrive on Mars in summer of 1976. So it was kind of part of the bicentennial hype, too. There was also the new Wedway People Mover, which opened on the week of the 4th. So a lot going on in Tomorrowland.
It's the place to be, and you can get your Coke there. If you need to.
Yes, exactly. So after the sun goes down, the Magic Kingdom really gets going, especially as it's open until 1 a.m. nightly.
Goodness gracious.
'Cause they really did it up back in those days. It was disco times.
Mm-hmm.
Park is aglow with lights and entertainment, aside from the late showing of America on Parade and the fireworks. Throughout the park, you'll experience music by the Kids of the Kingdom, the All-American College Band, the Bahamian Police Band, the Getting Brothers Band, the Class of 27, which I'm really curious about. I would love to know what that was. And Nick Russo and Gabriel's Brass.
Yeah, count me in for Gabriel's Brass especially, but I would have loved to see all of these bands for sure.
I bet they were really something else, something to behold. Yeah. Of course, you could always head back to the Seven Seas Lagoon for the electric water pageant, which could be seen nightly between 9 and 10:30 from points around the resort.
That was the prime time then. We'd have the dark horizon. You could really just enjoy.
Yes, it would just emerge from nowhere. Very nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And man, there was so much going on at the resort in 1975. Of course, you had the Polynesian Contemporary and Golf Resorts. You had Fort Wilderness. You had the Lake Buena Vista Vacation Villas for lodgings. But recreation and dining opportunities were off the charts. So you need to do something in the evenings besides enjoy the park. We'll head on over to the Contemporary's Top of the World Lounge and Dinner Show, where Mel Torme, the Velvet Fog himself, will be closing out the month.
Yes, please. I mean, some real ideal nights going on here.
Oh, absolutely. Some amazing entertainers over the years here. Other notables performing in 1975 included the amazing Kreskin, only recently R.I.P., Patty Page, Sherry Lewis, Bobby Rydell, and Rosemary Clooney.
Oh wow! Could you have a buttermilk with her after the show?
Go sit down by the Mary Blair mural and have a buttermilk and a liverwurst sandwich. Yeah. Pretty crazy. So there were 2 shows a night. The lounge stayed up until 2. Casual evening attire was required in the lounge after 6 p.m. To get in the door, just a $5 entertainment charge, and dinner would cost you just whatever it costs, but it ran up to $10.50, which is kind of pricier than the day in the park.
Yeah, well, and it should, to pay for these high-profile acts. I mean, Bobby Rydell, come on.
I know. Yeah, Valari don't come for free. Of course, you probably want to get ready for this revelry beforehand by going to the Pretty Wahine Beauty Salon or the Ali'i Nui Barbershop at the Polynesian, or the Captain's Chair, which offered men's hairstyling, haircuts, and shaves, or the American Beauty Shoppy, which offered ladies' hairstyling, wig setting, and manicures at the Contemporary. Just that place smelled immaculate with the freon destroying, the ozone destroying chemicals in the air.
Uh-huh.
You could always drop into the Contemporary's Olympiad Health Club for a sauna or massage. Massages, you got to make your reservations in advance, though, so be aware of that. But while you're doing all this, you can ditch your kids in the Mouseketeer clubhouses at the Polynesian or Contemporary. So, and those ran all evening. So if you needed childcare, and I believe our friend Peggy Ferris, in her early days there on property, worked at one of those Mouseketeer clubhouses. I could be making that up, but I don't think I am.
Be true. Gosh, all the stuff. It's like you get your haircut at the Polynesian.
Yes. And a themed barbershop.
Yeah,
so good.
Different context.
Get your wig set at the Contemporary.
Yeah.
What's more contemporary than that?
That's right.
Yeah. On the Contemporary Resort's second floor, in a repurposed convention space, you would find the Gulf Coast Room, where, quote, elegance in food and atmosphere are yours to enjoy. Very elegant here. Strolling musicians provide relaxing background music to complement French specialties such as beef Wellington, steak Diane, Mediterranean scampi, or roast duckling muscadine. Reservations are requested, with coats required for gentlemen. So please, gentlemen, wear your coats.
This seems like one of the more ridiculous places in my estimation.
Yes. I love that they were so swamped that they would set aside convention space to have
to
dinner
make a
buffets.
French restaurant in Florida. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and fancy dinner. Lots of, I would imagine, beets and things, or radishes, not beets, maybe beets too. Radishes carved into little flowers and things like that.
Yes.
Definitely. Of course, if you're looking for something less fancy, you could head out to the marina, where the Sand Bar features poolside cocktails and nightly entertainment at 8 o'clock. Wonder who was playing out there, I'd like to know. For adults, there's the Monorail Club Car Lounge on the Grand Canyon Concourse, which is open till 2. Now, that's something I wish was still there.
I know. Gosh, really?
Get a Monorail Pink in the Monorail Club car.
Well, that's like, again, the stuff that was open so late, it was open late all over the place. And I guess that's like they built what became Disney Springs. I mean, I don't know. It's like, used to be everything around here was open late. I mean, we even remember it being open later than it is now. It's just
absolutely. And there's the ever trusty Fiesta Fun Center snack bar, which was open 24 hours.
Oh, yes.
I remember on college program, I've probably talked about this before. We would go after work. We'd get off work at 2 a.m. and go to the Fiesta Fun Center and play video games at 4 a.m. or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. They also showed feature films nightly for the low price of $1 a person. They had their own little theater on the premises. Movies were also shown across the resort at the Fort Wilderness Campfire and at the Lake Buena Vista Hotel Plaza. I couldn't track down where, but somewhere out there they showed movies too, which I thought was interesting.
Huh.
But if the Contemporary isn't your speed, we can head to the Tropical Isles and have dinner at the Polynesian. First, though, we should enjoy some tasty beverages at the Tambu Lounge, which also presents top piano entertainment nightly. Said Disney, from contemporary to ragtime, from swing to blues. That was the promise there. This is only prelude to dinner at the adjoining Papeete Bay veranda, where we'll be entertained by Hawaiian love songs and symbolic dances while enjoying chicken pego pego, Fiji pig and prawns, or beef bora bora.
Yeah, I feel like the top piano entertainment's a missed opportunity. This is more in line with what one would expect.
Yeah. Yes.
Love songs and symbolic dances.
Exactly. I would love to hear a recording of that top piano entertainment, like what he was singing at the time, because I am sure there was some.
For me.
Yeah, exactly. Some of your favorite top 40 hits coming around.
Yeah.
Oh, MOR Central. So, for something simpler, we can head to the Coral Isle Cafe, where Kona is now. It was a more diner-like setting. It was open from 6:30 a.m. until 11 p.m., which is pretty nice. And again, with the conference room dining, in the space currently occupied by Boutique, they had conference halls, meeting halls. And at night, the conference rooms were turned into a dinner buffet, the South Seas dining room, which served beef, fresh ham, and Polynesian entrees.
At least we know where we can go get your ham.
Get my fresh ham too, not the old stale
get
ham.
A styrofoam clamshell of ham and just walk around the grounds all night.
That's right.
Be good to go.
Like one of those like prongs they use to rotate it over the fire, just using that as a fork. Yeah. Oh, good stuff. Of course, we can always head out to Luau Cove for Polynesian luau's twice nightly, $11 per adult. But after all that excitement, there's Captain Cook's Hideaway, where we can get some cocktails and enjoy nightly entertainment by the Saltwater Express till 2:30 a.m. Except Mondays. They don't play Mondays, but
they don't do Mondays.
Otherwise, they're there.
Yeah. They may have moved at this point. They may have gone.
Yeah, I know. They got to be careful with their billing. You don't want to show up and find them missing now because they're over at the Chummery.
But yes, to see the original Hideaway would be a real goal of a time machine experiment.
It really feels like it would be something from Three's Company.
Yes.
Or a Rupert Holmes song.
Yes, it does.
Just the local crowd. Yeah.
That's right.
It-
Shuffling in.
Shuffling. I know Billy Joel could write an out of his theme song about it. But yeah, similar vibe, very much. You know, they had to have regulars. Surely.
Oh, I mean, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, if all that's not rootin' tootin' enough for you, there's always the Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review. Pretty recently arrived at Fort Wilderness. For $11 per adult, you can enjoy entertainment plus home-style fixins and bottomless pitchers of beer, sangria, or Pioneer Punch, which I bet was delicious. Also, back then they had apple pie instead of strawberry shortcake. So it was
Which
a different
just seems sacrilegious to me.
Yeah, it's just not the same.
Do they? I think they still do the sangria there. Which is
I
like,
was
is that the
wondering.
last
I meant
place
to
you
look
get-
up and
can
see
get
if they still do, because they did for, I know, a long time. They may still,
Yeah, I don't know.
which makes me want to go
Yeah, that's right.
and get a sangria.
Oh, I think it still does. Yeah, I think it still does. Yes. So it says Disney World's. Yeah, it's the sangria lives.
That
the
is
Hoop-Dee-Doo.
fantastic.
Yeah, why not? I just pay to go drink the sangria.
Yeah, exactly. Bottomless
Bring your
pitchers
own
of
ham.
sangria.
Yeah.
I, as a kid, having no idea what sangria was, I knew it from the Birnbaum guides
Yes, same. Yeah.
and the descriptions there. I mean, I could, by context, assume kind of what it was, but nothing specific. But,
Intuited. Yeah. right.
yeah, sangria, man, it's still there. That is wonderful.
Still doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Of course, after all that sangria, if you're feeling amorous, you could take a moonlight cruise. Romantic sailings take place nightly from Polynesian, the Contemporary, and Fort Wilderness marinas. Cocktails and soft drinks sold on board there. Maybe some strolling musicians as well. That's something I really wish still happened.
I know. It's like, it's like everything that's open at night makes you think of the real world now. Whereas like this stuff was more vacation-y and like other worldly.
Yeah.
Just nice. Exotic.
Very transportative.
Yes. There we go.
Yeah.
I wish that too.
Well, there's so much going on at the resort recreation-wise. You could spend an entire day just enjoying its many offerings, and there's more on the way soon because John Keyes of the Facilities Division has informed Cast Newsletter Eyes and Ears that Surfrider Beach Wave Machine near the Polynesian is currently being tested for wave configuration and a number of other mechanical aspects. It's cranking out 5-foot breakers as we speak.
I mean, what an idea. What a concept.
Still working on it. 1975, still working on it. For a less turbulent experience, we can take a world cruise to Treasure Island or a Treasure Island excursion. For the world cruise, you'll board an authentic sidewheel steamship at the dock outside the Magic Kingdom for a leisurely trip around Bay Lake and the Seven Seas Lagoon. All the while, you'll hear a narration describing the development, history, and future of Walt Disney World. I assume this was probably Jack Wagner doing this. I would love to have a
hope so.
recording of this.
Yes. Oh, all of it. Unless it was like a know-it-all pilot character.
Oh, that's true. They could always pull that string, but it's a relaxing cruise. You got to have Jack Wagner.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you should have Jack.
Yeah,
Wagner,
settle you in leisurely.
Mhm.
Refreshments available on board naturally. As the culmination to the experience, you'll dock on Treasure Island, which was fairly new, later to be known as Discovery Island, now to be known as nothing. You can admire rare and beautiful birds roaming freely among exotic plant life. So you didn't need a ticket to get in, you just needed a ticket to get on the boat to get there. So, 6 of 1,
It's
I
been
suppose.
lovely.
But, a botanical garden. Or you could just go on a Treasure Island excursion, go directly to the Pirate's Paradise via motor launch from the Magic Kingdom entrance dock, Fort Wilderness Landing, Polynesian Village, or Contemporary Resort Marina. Film and refreshments available on Treasure Island, and all the sundries you want, I'm sure.
I mean, yeah.
Now, this fun is fine and dandy, but we know where it's really happening in summer 75, and that's at the Lake Buena Vista Village Marketplace. Open daily from 10 to 10, it offers 29 shops and 4 restaurants in soothing earth-toned wood and brick surroundings, bordering the brilliant blue water of the Buena Vista Lagoon. Not sure about that one, but yeah, it's whatever you say, Marty.
Well, it was at the time. I mean, it was that kind of water that they had in the Seven Seas. It's
true.
like clear until proven otherwise.
Brilliant, not as brown water, as
Right.
I suppose. Anyway, you could rent bob-arounds. You could rent pedal boats to take a little cruise down the canals. And the village puts a big emphasis at the time on craftsmen at work. You can see potters, crystal cutters, and gold engravers at work. And there is a huge slate of events for July at the village. On July 6th at Toys Fantastique, a stately 3-story Victorian doll mansion will be unveiled at 11 a.m. Said Disney, the ceremony will kick off a 3-day housewarming celebration with some of the most famous names in the world of miniatures on hand daily. 3-day housewarming celebration. Included in these experts were Barbara and Elizabeth Mott, who were the operators of the miniature museum at Knott's Berry Farm.
Huh. Go figure.
So all the way across the country here. This mansion was something else too, said Disney. Each of the mansion's 14 fully furnished rooms were authentically constructed on a 1 inch to 1 foot scale, resplendent with hand-etched windows, sparkling hand-cut crystal chandeliers, original oils, and such unusual accessories such as a functioning pool table with balls and cues, a wood-inlaid chessboard complete with tiny 14-karat and sterling chessmen, and hand-carved mahogany baby grand. This is the kind of action the village promised back in the day.
I know, with cedar shingled shops, man. It was just
That's right.
Only the Disney people could have done it.
That's
really.
right. Walt would have been all for this.
Oh gosh, yeah, very intriguing.
Mansion unveiling. It'd be very exciting. Even more exciting. After the mansion unveiling, we can head to the gourmet pantry for a yum yum sauce taste demonstration with Mrs. Sandra McDonald.
I love some yum yum sauce.
Mrs. Sandra McDonald will be demonstrating her yum yum sauce from 1 till 7 p.m. So that is very exciting at the gourmet pantry.
Oh man, I mean, imagine the yum yum sauce arrival in Orlando. It's like
That'd be earth shaking.
It would change the world. Yeah,
I feel that was way ahead of its time.
I do too.
1975.
For the East Coast, come on, get out.
What are you going to put it with? Yeah, on the East Coast, that's crazy. Just get your chow mein noodles and
That's right.
whatever Chungking chow mein noodles.
Now that is good. I understand why they call it yum yum. I like that. Do you like it?
That's right. It's very interesting flavor. Oh man, you never know who you might run into at the village. Governor Reuben Askew dropped by on the 10th. At the Pottery Chalet, you can meet Palm Harbor artist Bill Hoskins, known for his unusual interpretation of subject matter, which ranges from the American Indian to the Appalachian coal miners. So get some pottery with a coal miner on it, I guess. Anyway, on the 12th from 2 till 4 p.m., head to the Captain's Tower for the Paupers on Parade Pet Show, sponsored by Posh Pets. Children from 6 to 13-year-old can show off their dolls and cats, but take heed, the show is only open for pets who are not AKC registered, so don't bring your fancy pets. Just your mutts. Gift certificates and trophies will be handed out for largest dog and cat, smallest dog and cat, and best groomed dog and cat, as well as best overall. So this is a dog show for the rest of us.
Right. And the amateur.
Yes, exactly.
Only please.
That's a sample of the fun and shenanigans we can get up to at Walt Disney World in July 1975. But think of the cast members. They need to have some fun too. Thankfully, this was a golden age for cast activities with an entire department dedicated to such things. Cast activities, for instance, put together a 10-day trip for 300 cast members to sunny Southern California, flying on national airlines. Gotta love those guys. On a jumbo 747. Wow. from Orlando even.
Mm,
Round trip airfare, $212. Lodging in Anaheim coming in at $135 for a single adult for 9 nighs. If you needed a rental car, you could get a Granada, Maverick, or Nova for $18.83, tax included, per day with unlimited mileage. What a deal.
Gosh.
Closer to home, July's Family Film Festival featured the new Disney motion picture, One of Our Dinosaurs is Missing. Cast members and families could check it out for free at locations across property, including conference rooms and at The Center. The Center was a big deal.
Yeah, it was, the center before EPCOT Center. It was the center.
That's right.
It appears all over cast materials.
It really does. Everything was going on at the center. Cast Activities was located on the second floor, offered an insane amount of services for cast members. They could cash personal checks, get money orders. They could get fishing and hunting licenses, which is so weird to me. They could get discounted Disney books. They could get free things like Orlando Land magazine, which they could flip on eBay 50 years later for a good deal of money. They hosted roommate and housing listings. They provided voter registration. They had free notary service.
Dang.
Yeah, it's a deal central. This is only a partial list. They did everything. Like, the list of stuff that you could get done at the center is enormous. And I guess it's just that Walt Disney World's so far away from the real world back then that you had to have everything there.
Right, you had to have a center.
You had to have
what
a
a great
center.
name, too. It just makes me want to go. I need to be there to see what's going on.
Exactly. I know. I mean, get all licensed up, get some free stuff, get some info. It's good to go, man. Oh, drop by Cast Activities, find out. July also brings with it the annual canoe races of the world around the rivers of America and the Magic Kingdom. This year, I hear they're going to have mixed men's and women's teams. Women's lib strikes, even the canoe races.
Yeah.
Teams interested in participating should have a representative at a captain's meeting on Tuesday, July 15th at 7 p.m. in Stage 1 of the Disney University. So mark that down on your calendars. There's also going to be a cast sailing regatta at Little Lake Bryan on July 12th. Races start at 2 p.m. There will be prizes, and the races will be broken into age categories. A sailing regatta.
It's got to be on a boat there, man.
Yeah, it's just the water paradise of the world. Of course, the 4th of July was a big deal. Over 1,000 cast members and families enjoyed the fun at Little Lake Bryan, which was the cast recreational facility near the village. It still is, but not quite as extensive, I don't think, now as it was. It was open from 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. all summer, offered boat rentals for 50 cents an hour. That's a good deal. As well as volleyball, croquet, badminton, horseshoes, swimming, and much, much more. There was entertainment, too, on July 24th from 9 till 1 a.m. You can dance the night away with the Getting Brothers Band. Refreshments will be at a reduced price, mind you. There will be plenty of super door prizes. Tickets, only $1 per person. Wow. Who can miss? Lake Bryan also set to host Family Flea Market on July 27th from noon till 5. As an added attraction, you can sing along with Nelson Young and the Sandy Valley Boys. Also refreshments at reduced rates.
Now that sounds good.
Yeah. And who knows what was at the flea market back then? All sorts of good stuff, I'm sure. Then there are the clubs. There were so many clubs at Disney World in the 70s. Just briefly, in the month of July, you could attend meetings for the Walt Disney World Sportsmen's Association as they prep for their annual fish fry at Little Lake Bryan. You could attend the Paragators Sports Parachute Club of Eustis, the Walt Disney World Track Association, the Walt Disney World Summer Bowling League, the Walt Disney World Dive Club, the Walt Disney World Water Skiing Club. You could take tennis clinics for beginners only, also sign language classes, or join one of the new clubs, the Korean-style Karate Club, the Aero Club, which was for pilots, or the Photography Club. So many clubs.
Yeah, I mean, gosh. Hope your meetings don't intersect. What do you do?
I know, exactly. You just fill up on extracurriculars for your resume, I guess. Anyway, the Walt Disney World Theater Workshop held its annual theater banquet on July 25th at the Travelodge on iDrive, providing all members a scrumptious dinner and awards presentation. And of course, the Walt Disney World Golden Variety Show was preparing for its next production with a meeting at the Stage Door Cafe on the first floor of the center on July 19th. Variety show staffers even got a visit from Supper Club entertainer Barbara McNair, fresh from her appearance at Top of the World at a recent practice meeting. Jeff, it's just all too much.
Just incredible. Yeah. I mean, in a Stage Door Cafe, bringing it over from Disneyland.
Yeah, I know. I was pleased to see that. A little homage there. I would love to see the Walt Disney World Golden Variety Show, because that had to be great.
Right.
Sure. I mean, tape from this era is very fleeting and flighty, but I hope a tape exists somewhere for preserving this. Anyway, cast members, we want to remember that even in such exciting times, we must remain reverent. I will quote one final cast directive. With America on Parade now being presented daily in the Magic Kingdom, we have a new edition which we have not had in the past. As part of the show, our national anthem is played over the PA system. We realize that many of you are in a hurry, moving from one area to another in the park. But remember that during our national anthem, you should stand at attention out of respect. So please take a moment to stand still while it is being played. Oh, very important.
Please be reverent. Yes.
Moments of reverence, because Dick Nunes is watching you from the castle to see if you move. So that is all just a peek at the excitement that awaits at Walt Disney World in 1975. Jeff, I'm ready to go right now.
Me too. So many things that have long gone, and so much little fun community things to do.
I know. It just really felt like
Hidden
a world
treasures.
unto itself at that time.
Yes.
Just a fun little community, yeah. Well, what about you, dear listener? Drop us a line at podcast@progresscityusa.com. Let us know where you would head first if you joined us on our time-traveling adventure.
So that wraps up another episode, number 75, Michael. We didn't even say that in the intro. This is why we had to stay in 75, is because it was number 75, a 75th episode.
That is amazing to me. Yes, I probably should have mentioned that the reason we're going back 1975 is because it is our 75th episode. That's kind of amazing. I'm kind of pleased with ourselves.
I am very pleased. You know, we're trying to get more in sequence again, but we have a lot in our rear view, and I will stand behind our work, beside it, behind it, in front of it. I don't know, but also I need to get that time machine fixed so we can get back to 1975, Michael.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I would go wild to be able to experience some of these things again, and experience some of them for the first time. Some of the things we never got to see because they were already gone. Such a variety of things, and such a variety of scrumptious. I just want to take pictures of the big buffet tables, because I just know they're stuck in my mind, that I know that they were just excessive to the point of ridiculousn's.
Floral fruit patterns and
floral fruit,
yes.
Ice sculptures. They really did it up back then. Yeah. So yeah, 75 episodes, and hopefully many more on the way.
I think so. Well, it's the time of our show where we check in with our Patreon and see if anyone has signed up. Michael, do we have any new Patreon members?
Yes, we'd like to welcome Evan to the Patreon family, supporting the show. Of course, lots of benefits to signing up. You can get early access to shows, behind the scenes look at what's going on. At the silver level, you get access to our monthly live stream where we show lots of rare photos and video and have a good talk with a chat with a whole bunch of fun people. Also, now we've got our private Discord server, which all patrons at any level can get access to. And that is really popping off lately. I think I probably said the same thing on our last episode, but it's turned into a real good time with a lot of fun people just chatting about things Disney and non, and just having a good time.
It's a nice little, so it's the club. It's like if you go to our center, it's our club.
It is. It absolutely is. Cast Activities sponsors our Discord server. So yeah, sign up for any level and you can join that and get to hang out with some fun people. And, who knows, all sorts of things going on over there. And of course, you can access all that and other benefits by signing up at patreon.com/ProgressCityUSA. And we do appreciate everyone who supports the show. You can also support the show getting some merchandise at shop.ProgressCityUSA.com. Get some Progress City logo tees for the Retro Magic that's coming up. And get some goodies there.
Yeah, some good stuff popping up there. For sure. You can reach us at podcast@ProgressCityUSA.com. We encourage you to fill our mailbag. Again, the challenge is out there, folks. And you can find us on social media, Blue Sky a lot. But the real way now is to get on that Discord, Michael. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that is the direct access. And you find out what, I posted that we were going to be recording tonight, so everybody can keep up to date on what's going on. And a couple of times we've had movie nights on there, and just lots of fun and silliness.
That's right. Well, anything else to say before we close this 75th episode?
I'm just happy to be here, and thanks to everybody for listening, especially those who have been here since the beginning. And hope you enjoy, and hope you stick around for what's to come, because hopefully it's going to be good.
Yes, we have a few more episodes in the pipeline we're working on, and we look forward to sharing with them very soon. So stay on this feed and stay tuned, because there's more to come. Until that time, wish you all the best, and we'll see you soon.
Right now, it's time to go. Remember,
everything you've seen here in our all-electric city is really possible today.
so if you know any cities looking for a new springtime of progress, tell them about Progress City. Thanks for joining us.
They call it progress, progress. Our time is at an end. We'll be seeing you again next time at progress, progress. We'll meet at Progress City, USA. You've been listening to the Progress City Radio Hour, created by the folks at ProgressCityUSA.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter at Progress City USA. If you want to contact us, please write podcast@ProgressCityUSA.com. The Progress City Radio Hour is recorded at Arbor Ridge Studios in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, on the web at arborridgestudios.com. The title theme was composed by Jeff Crawford, whose music can be found at jeffcrawfordmusic.com. Please join us again soon for another Progress City Radio Hour. They call it progress.